and gentlemen. I want to talk about this. Now, let's address something you've probably heard. XRP doesn't need to be expensive because it can be reused. Under calm conditions, that logic sounds reasonable, but calm conditions are deceptive. Let me give you an analogy. Imagine a city that rents generators during storms instead of owning emergency power stations. When storms are rare, that system works. But when a hurricane hits and everyone needs generators at once, rentals disappear instantly. Suddenly, ownership matters. That's the difference between convenience, liquidity, and secured liquidity. XRP wasn't engineered just for sunny days. It was engineered for the storm. And this is the part most people won't like. And if you made it to this point, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate a like. And if you're new here, please subscribe so you can keep up with us with all the breaking news that we go over every day and my rant at the end that everyone's come to love. Because now we have to talk about what happens when calm disappears. When liquidity changes behavior, take crypto out of the equation. Imagine you're running a business. You're profitable on paper. Your bank limits withdrawals. Credit tightens. Suppliers demand upfront payment. You're still valuable, but access is restricted. That's the liquidity event. In 2008, banks didn't suddenly forget how to make money. They stopped trusting each other overnight. The interbank lending market froze. And when trust froze, liquidity froze. It wasn't about valuation. It was about timing. And here's what history repeatedly shows us. Under stress, liquidity doesn't vanish. It retreats. Institutions protect balance sheets. Counterparties demand collateral. Capital becomes selective. That's human behavior. And infrastructure is designed around human behavior, not optimism. Price, scale, and compression. Now let's talk about scale. When the U.S. moved off the gold standard in 1971, global settlement dynamics changed dramatically. Suddenly, currencies were no longer backed by a fixed physical anchor. Trust became policy-based. That shift didn't show up in one dramatic candle on a chart. It reshaped decades of monetary architecture. Infrastructure changes don't spike. They reposition. Here's the practical reality. If an asset is priced extremely low, massive quantities are required to move large sums. At institutional levels, that creates friction. High-priced isn't hype. It's compression efficiency. Moving 10 billion through a system using fewer units reduces operational complexity under stress. So here's the asymmetry clearly stated. If nothing breaks, XRP stays quiet. If something breaks, quiet infrastructure doesn't stay quiet. It won't move because of hype. It would move because settlement required it. That's a structural trigger, not a retail one. I want to talk about the psychological gap. Here's the micro story most holders live through. You buy, you wait. Nothing dramatic happens. Other assets pump, you question your thesis. You wonder if you missed something.